All right, here we go. 743 WATA, and Derek is with us again this morning from Limits Without Borders. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. You said you got an interesting question. You've heard people have been, hearing us talk about this now for some weeks with your program over there, and you said you got a pretty interesting question that we hadn't actually addressed.
Right. Yeah, it caught me a little bit off guard too. So when we talked last Monday, we had made the decision without adequate full funding
Right.
to go ahead and launch.
Yeah.
We had funding for 6 people, so we started inviting those 6 people. Those 6 people turned into now funding for 10 people, which is still half of our goal, but nearly double what we had last Monday. All the motivation, getting very excited. Began the sessions actually today, and had an interesting question. It was, to what end? I really like what you're doing, but to what end?
Right.
Why?
Right.
And that question, I didn't even know how to respond to it in the moment, even though the answer was so just ingrained in me, but I didn't actually know how to verbalize it in that moment.
Yeah, especially when you're not expecting that, and it's like, how do you have to stop and think for a minute
Right.
what you're going to say, how you're going to answer that.
Right, and the how, the what, all of those are so easy to answer because that's what I spent so much time trying to flesh out along the way. But it was that why
Right.
that matters the most, and it was
Yeah.
that why that led us to begin in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of is funny to me that was the one thing I wasn't prepared to just spit out in the moment, was the
Yeah.
why.
Well, so what is the answer then to that question?
To what end is, I read a quote one time from Martin Luther King Jr., and it said, on the one hand, we're called to play the Good Samaritan on life's roadside, but that's only an initial act. One day we must come to see that the whole Jericho Road has to be transformed.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole fight has been, and it continues to be, against society's influence on individuals through what they are told is brokenness or imperfection. And fighting society's view of it is good, and we need to do that. But at some point, to me, it was that we needed to transform the whole Jericho Road, which to me was to change the way the individuals perceive themselves, perceive Down syndrome, perceive criminal history, perceive drug issues,
Yeah.
perceive being a single mother. Any of these things that in the right circle of society will tell you is an imperfection, is
Yeah.
a brokenness, is a
Negative.
limitation. Yeah. And so the to what end is not only that they will complete our 8-week curriculum and should show positive change in their self-assessment. We've got metrics and all that stuff that comes along with a business model and
Sure.
whatever. But at the end of the day, I want to see our participants complete the program, graduate, and then go on to service in some other capacity. Maybe it's coming back around and being a volunteer in our program. Maybe it's going and joining a volunteer trip with Wine to Water, or going with some service-related organization and going abroad, digging a ditch, doing disaster relief.
Paying it forward.
Paying it forward.
Yeah.
To me, that is to what end, is when a broken individual says, you know what, I'm not limited by X, Y, and Z. In fact, I might be better suited, and I'm going to go. That's the thing. It's not just saying, I have this come to me. It's going out and serving others in community is what we've said from the beginning. And that, to me, is the to what end. It's when our program participant not only perceives him or herself differently, despite what society may try to say, but then takes that overt action and does something about it, links up with somebody else who's broken or limited or imperfect, and they go on and they do something for someone else. And so that to me is the why, to what end. It's, I can fight heart disease, I can fight diabetes, I can fight all of these leading causes of death. But in our society, and in Watauga County, suicide is in the top 10 causes of death. Maybe I can combat suicide. Maybe I can combat one of the leading causes of death simply through relationships with people and changing the way that they view themselves and their own imperfections.
Exactly.
And just so happens that we get to do it through working out, which is not terrible.
Which is actually good for the body
Yeah,
as well.
that doesn't hurt the other things too.
Exactly. You guys are still hoping to get some more funding to continue the program.
For sure.
So how would somebody help in that regard?
the easiest thing is to go to the website or to give me a call. I've had lots of emails and phone calls and text messages over the past few weeks, and the PayPal account is the quickest way. In-person donations are wonderful, but everything's completely donor-based. So we need that, and we're going to continue to move forward knowing that it's coming, but we have to be very intentional about seeking that support as well.
Sure. What's the phone number? Give them the phone number.
828-773-2270.
And the website, I got it this time. Rev55fitness.com, and it's REVFIVE, the number 5, fitness.com.
That's right.
And then up near the top of the page is a link for Limits Without Borders, and you can get all the information right there. Derek, good to see you, man. We'll be in here next Monday, even though it's Memorial Day. We'll be in here, so come on by and swing by and see us, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It is